Hey, welcome back, seventh graders. Tell you what, we're just cruising along this week with our article, and we are already on lesson 7. So today, continuing to go back to our guiding questions, you can see them on the screen here. How is the adolescent brain changing? So one of the things that we're doing this week is taking a deeper look at the development of the brain, the different parts of the brain, and learning that vocabulary about hemispheres and lobes, the cortexes, and getting a stronger understanding of how it all works together to make our lives communicating and focused around our learning. And our second guiding question, how can I make an informed decision about an issue like screen time and then effectively argue my position? So over weeks of time, as we move into our topic more deeply, you're going to get closer and closer to being able to argue an opinion about the effects of screen time on the development of the adolescent brain. But we're going to stay focused here on lesson 7 today. Your article again today is titled Explainer, This is Your Brain. And when you go to your distance learning printed packet, you'll find lesson 7 and also your lesson 7 note catcher. You'll need a pencil. I'm going to let you pause the video for just a quick moment, and then you can come back and we'll be ready to begin. Make sure you've got those materials with you. Fantastic. Today, we just have one learning target. I can determine the main idea and supporting details of a text. So we're going to take a look at this today. We're going to read pieces of the article that we read aloud on Monday, or at least on lesson 5. And then on lesson 6, we looked at one section of the article. So today, we're actually going to look at 2 more sections of the article. So if you get your print copy, you'll see that we're going to take a look at 2 titled areas. One is called Networking Within the Brain, and the other one is called Language and Speech Functions. Both of those sections are found on page 2 of the article itself and goes into page 3 just a little bit. So I'm going to have you pause the video and take a look at those 2 sections of the article again, and then come on back and we'll do the actual lesson, okay? So you're reading those 2 sections of the text, and you can pause the video and meet me back here. Fantastic. Welcome back. All right, the first thing that we're going to do is be thinking about the message of this article. You know, we're continuing to dive deeper into more structure about what our author, these research people, what they're sharing with us. I want you to think about how scientific advances are helping us learn more about the brain. This article started by saying if we thought 15 years ago we knew something, everything that's changed tremendously in the last decade and in the past 15 years about the brain, there's so much that has changed and brand new that we never knew about the brain. So be thinking about that. And I want to invite you to have a conversation, a quick time to talk with maybe a family member or a friend. And remember to focus on how the brain areas work together, how they function, and how that structure works together to make speech, mobility, our heart, beat, everything. The brain is in charge of all of it. Then there's a few questions that I'd like you to chat about in your conversation with your team member. How does an MRI machine help scientists see the brain more clearly today? And how is the brain interconnected across the lobes and the hemispheres? How do humans learn to communicate with language? These are all ideas that are in the article you just reread, those 2 sections. So have a quick conversation about that and get your brain moving through that talking, and then come on back to the video again and we'll do the actual writing today. Take a pause, have a chat, and then come on back. Great. Now we will move into the write section. I'm sure you've noticed by now, but we read, think, talk, and write every day in our lessons. It's the best way to learn. Not just things like this, but really anything: math, science, social studies. If you read, you think, you talk, and you do some writing, it'll make a lot more sense to you again tomorrow and next week, and you'll hold those pieces of information more deeply. So we're going to get to the write portion, the writing portion of our lesson today. So you're going to need your lesson 7 note catcher. Again, it looks a little bit different than what we've done in the past, and I want you to be able to have those 2 sections of your article next to you along with your note catcher. And there's 4 areas that we're really looking at today so that we can come up with kind of a main idea at the very end. So the first box on your note catcher is asking you, what are brain networks? This is mentioned specifically in the article, so you'll be able to go back, get that information, and plug it in here and be thinking about what you're doing as you write that down. The second box on your lesson 7 note catcher says, what is the difference between Broca's area and Wernicke's area of the brain? It's very specific. It's in your reading. Go grab that information and put it in there. And the last 2 sections are around, why does the function for language and speech cross over to the left side and right side of the brain? Very specific information that's in your article that you can place there. And then finally, how can understanding the brain's function and structure help you as a student? That main concept. I'm going to have you pause the video so that you can go do the note catching and have your 2 sections of the article, your pencil and your note catcher. I'll meet you back here in about 15 minutes. You can pause the video now. Fantastic. Welcome back. So we're going to do our closing here, but just to tighten things up, I hope that you found easily those sections of your reading that specifically mentioned Broca and Wernicke. I found them on the bottom of page 2, and they're different areas of the brain. And also talking about brain networks, that was very specific in the article, really in the section called Networking Within the Brain. And then we'll take a look at some of your creative ideas about how can understanding the brain help you as a student. So we hope we get deeper around that as time goes on as well. So our closing today is for you to share your note catcher and that information with someone else, and you know how that went today with your task, with the assignment. And after you complete your assignment and that sharing of your information, don't forget, it's powerful to read another 20 minutes from your own interests beyond the article. You can read the article again, but you could also do some other things. And after that, just make sure you do your fluency practice to reread the passage for a period of time and see if you're getting more fluent it makes more sense to you. You can pronounce the words better. You're getting flow better, because that's what we're really looking at in fluency. And if our fluency in what we're reading is improving, our comprehension of our reading is also improving. You're doing a great job. I'll see you again real soon. That's the end of lesson 7.